been said that all the world is a stage, and men and women are but actors playing roles. I love that quote by Shakespeare. And whether you realize this or not subconsciously, all relationships, whether your boss, your coworkers, your family, your friends, you are playing a role of one of three archetypes, and they're reflecting it to you. It's called the drama triangle, and we're gonna go through each one of the three. If you don't know this, well, this drama triangle is gonna continue in every single relationship you have. But if you do know this, it's kind of like getting a cheat code, an instruction manual to relationships and to toxic people. Now we'll dive into these three roles. I'll explain what they are, how they show up in your life, and what you can do, and why this is useful to you. But as I'm doing this, I want you to think of two things. First, someone in your life that plays this role. And second, where in your life have you been this role, or this role? First one, let's kick it off. Like every good drama, you need a victim. Now, when I say victim, I don't mean cowering in the corner, defenseless and helpless. It's more of a mindset, a victim mindset. In relationships, they view it as it's their fault. My life is so unfair. My life is so different than other people's. Poor me. You ever known people like this in a dynamic in a relationship? It's kind of like exhausting, right? And why would people play into a victim role? What are the pros of this? Think about it. If you're a victim, you don't have any responsibility. Well, then it can never be your fault. But what's the con of this? Does this sound like a fun person to be around? Is this someone you want to go after work and get beers with? No, this is going to be like they corner you at a party and they tell you, oh, you think you got it bad, and they word vomit on you. The problem is this identity of a victim, of it's other people's fault, it's not mine, poor me, I have it harder than people, now becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The part in your brain called the reticular activating system is the filter. You have billions of stimuli going around every single day, so you can't focus it on all of it. So your reticular activating system chooses and selectively focuses what you see. Like attracts like. So if you're a victim, of course, you're gonna find evidence in your life to support it. And people in relationships will find evidence of why they're a victim in relationships. And the cycle keeps spinning faster. One of the things that I've always adopted is that I am 100% responsible. 100%. Now, people don't like to hear this. In different stages of your life, you might repel that idea. Like, what do you mean I'm responsible for XYZ, ABC person in my life? And I'm not saying you're responsible for other people's actions, but what I am saying is you're responsible for like what you're doing with it. Because if you're not, the bigger problem is who is responsible. That's scary to think about. And if you don't think that you have the power to change any aspect or element in your life, which I believe is why you're watching this channel, then what's the point? You're right, you should just sit and be a victim. We'll come back to this because a victim is nothing without a persecutor. Sounds intense because it is. If this was the story of the roles that we play in relationships, this person is the villain. And they don't think that it's poor me. They think that it's not my fault. It's actually your fault. It's a specific person or group's fault. Now, their ego gets on a bit of a power trip here. These people are known as the micromanagers in an organization. If you're dating this person, this is where you're always apologizing and they're always mad about something. It's kind of like an angry owner to their pet. Like if you see a pet that's been like abused or they are afraid of their owner and their ears are back and they follow them around, that's the kind of dynamic it takes on. And they attract victims. They actually create victims because if you're constantly telling someone it's all your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault, eventually that's gonna seep into that subconscious to where you get to a point and you're like, maybe it is my fault. Maybe she is right. Maybe he was right. It's all your fault. Poor me. You know this dynamic. This creates this. What happens? What does this person go looking for when they can't stand this person enough in a relationship? They go to the last one, which is the rescuer. The rescuer, the hero. They come in to save the day. I'll save you. I'll handle it. This is their mentality. And while that sounds good and noble at first, it's unsustainable. And for a myriad of reasons we can get into, it's actually unhealthy, especially in relationships. These people see victims in this relationship and they'll swoop in and save them. You ever seen this? Someone in your family brings home a girlfriend, you meet them for the first time, you're like, what the heck? Dude, how did you end up with you? Normally it's the rescuer victim relationship at play. Their core beliefs is, don't do anything till I'm there. I'll fix it. It's not your fault. I should have been there. It's my fault for you. Everything's my fault. They internalize it. What are the pros of this? Why do people play into this role? One of them is that it feels morally superior to help people. That there's good reasons to help people, but sometimes subconsciously people do it as a projection so they don't have to look internally and help themselves. I mean, I have so many examples of this in my life, whether it's a marriage family therapist that is helping other people with their relationships, their marriage and family is a complete mess. The classic is the health coach who has their own issues. It's obvious they're 50 to 60 pounds overweight, but they're teaching people how to be healthy. Wealth gurus who have all their money in a Lamborghini and zero in the bank, and they're preaching how to get rich, right? Where I'm going with this is the unhealthy manifestation of this. And we'll get to the healthy manifestations of these at the end, maybe. I'll give you a few pointers. But the unhealthy one is, what would these people do without me? Right? That's kind of how the ego manifests itself here. Whereas it's clear here the ego manifests itself with saying, I'm more important, I'm just better than people. This one's saying, man, this team is nothing without me. So what's bad about this? Well, the con is kind of twofold. The first is the paradox of helping. If you're a rescuer and you're always offering help to people, you might be doing it from a good place of, well, I'm just trying to help them out. I'm just, I'm a helpful person, but it's subconsciously communicating to that other person that your status is above them, right? That you have more to give than they are, that you're up here and they're here, whether you intend it or not. Second is that you'll actually resent people at the end of the day if they take you up on that. You ever been in a relationship and you just give, and at first it's fine, but eventually, you can start to resent people if you're coming from the place of this rescuer. And I think the most important part is that if you're always helping people and you're always solving problems for people, what are you doing? You're actually robbing them of the lessons learned from failures or completing it on their own. It's like when people help, is it chicks hatch out of the egg? It actually hurts them, it doesn't help them, because that struggle is what helps them grow and get their initial strength to break out of the egg and kind of continue with life. They're always helping people hatch, they're never going to learn on their own, and they're just going to be fragile, and this actually creates and empowers victims. One of the easiest ways to break free of these is to start operating from this 2.0 version of you, this new version of you. Because you can see here, if you're a victim, you need to flip that to a creator. If you're a persecutor, you need to flip that to a challenger. And if you're a rescuer, you need to flip that to a coach. Those are the healthy manifestations of the intention behind each one of these. You do that by tapping into a new identity, a new version of yourself, right? And that's why in our metamorphic coaching program, which I don't talk about enough, I should blab about it every single video. I mean, I couldn't shut up about it because the results are so good that people are getting. We literally put you through a 6 to 10 week boot camp. You get to work one-on-one with NLP coaches, workshops in there. You get to go live with me every single week. We're working together, right? It's an amazing experience. The start to finish guide, if you're like, all this education out there has just become entertainment for me. I really want this year to be something different than the last. Would love to invite you into our metamorphic program. If you'd like that, you like videos like this. You don't want the entertainment as education. You want to use it. You want to start making shifts and see big transformations in your life. Scroll down below if you're feeling it and talk to one of our enrollment coaches. These are they work with me. I know them all by name. They talk to me every single day. Great, fantastic coaches who can just tell you a little bit more, hear more about you, your story. At the very least, you walk away with a game plan that you can do on your own. But at the very most, that might be a call that invites you in and changes your life. It's free too, there's nothing to lose. So scroll down there, click apply, and speak with one of our enrollment coaches for a free one-to-one consult. One of the ways to break out of this is self-awareness, is introspection. So if you're looking for a way to get introspection, would highly recommend journaling. I'll link that video, go watch it now.